Oh my gosh, it is so unbelievably hot right now. I don't have AC. It's like sweltering hot. It's 90 degrees outside. It's kind of rainy, so it's really humid and muggy. I cracked the window, but that is do nothing. And you've got these lights on me, and this is like, whew, this is tough to get through. But alas, I'm going to get through it. Although by the end, my hair might be like completely frizzy, so I don't know why I thought straightening it was gonna work, but alas, here we are. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Morphe. Oh, look at that highlight. Just kidding, that's sweat. Okay, today we're going to be talking about Morphe, and we are going to be talking about their 18H Sweet on Hue palette. So, I love the way Morphe packages their palette when they ship it out to you, because not only do they have bubble wrap all around the palette, but look at that. They stick bubble wrap in the box as well. Like, I don't see too many companies do this, so I'm very impressed. So, I'm not a huge fan of the big palettes from Morphe. I just find them like so overwhelming that I usually stay away. But I do have quite a few Morphe palettes. Well, I don't want to say quite a few, but I do have a few Morphe palettes, and I do have a few reviews on my channel. So I do like Morphe. And this palette right here definitely caught my eye. And it retails for $20, which I think is extremely reasonable price. Because look at that. You get all these shades for $20. Which honestly, it's not always about quantity. It's about the quality. So you could be like, oh wow, you get all these shades for $20. But is it even worth the $20? And that's what we're going to find out. You know what I'm talking about? Like sometimes you see those like insane makeup palettes where it's like 80 shades for only $25. And it seems like a good deal, but if all the shadows are crap, then it's not a good deal. So we're going to find this out today. But I have a feeling it's not going to be crap because I have a few other palettes in this size from Morphe. Like I did a review on their Coca-Cola palette and their Blew You, Blew Me Away palette, which go check it out if you're interested to see those reviews. And I liked both of those palettes, so I think I will like this one as well. Look at this. This protector is hanging in there strong. So let's see. You do get 18 shades, hence, you know, 18H. Don't even know why I had to count that. This has an interesting smell. You know how you go to a hardware store? Couldn't think of the name for it. I want to call it a tool store. You know how you go to a hardware store and they have that outdoor garden section? That's what this palette smells like. But overall, you know, it's okay. So you do get this nice giant mirror, hello, with the palette, which is really great. The packaging is just, you know, cheapy little cardboard, magnetic closure, but you know, it's not always about the packaging. Now this is an interesting palette for sure. Like, shade range is all over the place here. You have some yellow, you have some pink, some blue, some purple, some brown. It's interesting. You have a little bit of everything, which I kind of like because you can get many a looks out of this type of palette. Many a looks. But for other people, I don't want to say for other people because that makes me seem stuck up. For some people, they might look at this palette and it might be overwhelming because you don't really maybe see any clear color story here. Like this isn't one of those palettes that you instantly look at and you go, oh, I know exactly what I want to do. You kind of have to think about it for a second. And even that with me that happened. I kind of looked at it and I thought what I wanted to do. For a minute, I was like, okay, how can I make a fun, cohesive look with this palette? But personally, I liked it. I thought this was an interesting color story. It had like some fun color combinations that I'm excited to play around with. And it does lean on the pastel side down here, and then you got some darker shades, and then continually darker at the top. So I think this is a really interesting shade range, and I'm excited for it. So it does look like you get 3 sequin shades, which are right down here. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like you get about 7 metallic shimmer shades thrown in throughout. And it looks like you get 8 matte shades thrown in throughout. So that's really nice. And you do get some good transition colors. Like, you know, this is kind of a nice transition color. I mean, this is really dark for a transition color, but you could make it work. And like even that one if you want a purple look. So this one if you want a blue look. So you definitely get variety here is what I'm saying. Like, oh my god, look at these 2 colors. Imagine these 2 colors together. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of dip into some of the more pastel shades in this palette. Just really kind of play around with the whole palette a little bit. Like, I'm not going for just a purple eye look. I'm not going for just a blue. I am playing with like all these colors. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to see what we're going to get. Oh my lord. It is so freaking hot in here. Oh my goodness. Who needs highlight when you have sweat? Am I right? Am I right? Okay. Do you like my fan? It's gorgeous. Okay, I think that is an angle I can live with. All right. Usually I like to go in with some kind of base shade. I do not see one in here, and I try not to wear, I mean, a primer. Truthfully, a primer would work just as well, but I try not to wear them in my review videos just so you can see how the shadows perform on their own. So we are going to skip the base shade and we are going to go in with this pastel yellow shade called Hello Jello. Now it does have a sequin kind of formula to it. I don't know if you can see it. It has the faintest amount of glitter, but honestly I don't even think that's going to show up in the crease, so I'm not going to even worry about it. I'm just going to go for it. Okay, a little powdery, but it is what it is. Okay. Oof, my hair is frizzen already. Alright, so you do see a little bit of that glittery shade. Oh my gosh. Do you guys ever have, I have like this pulsing right here. Do you ever have that where it's like randomly throbs in your head and you're like, please don't be an aneurysm? Like, I'm not trying to make a joke of it, but like legit, like that is thoughts that I have sometimes. Like, it kind of scares me. Okay, so see a little bit of that yellow in there. Oh shoot, that is not what I wanted to do. Just kidding. I wanted to go in with Mint to Be. Alright, I meant to go in with Mint to Be, so let's go in with that shade instead. Okay, that was supposed to be my crease shade. Whatever, if anything the yellow will help the blue show up more. Ooh, okay, so this is like kind of really chalky looking. Ooh, yeah, like this is really chalky and really powdery. I like how it's called Mint to Be on a shade that's blue. Alright, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm taking this all the way up to the brow bone, apparently. Whatever, let's just go for it. It's light enough to do that. Okay, but it is very powdery, very chalky. It is flying up. Oh, even as I was talking, like, piece of it flying up. Yeah, this shade is like flying up all over the place. All over the place. This shade is Chalk City for sure. Even the pigmentation is like not the greatest. Like, it worked better with that yellow shade underneath. Like, do you see the difference? It's like kind of patchy, not really that pigmented. Like, do you see that? That is chalk vibes right there. Straight up. Not a fan of that blue. Alright, let's go in with Cake Poppin'. Let's hope this shade's a little bit better. And that is going to go in my outer corner. Something needs to be popping in this look. So let's hope it's cake popping. Okay. Again, like this shade right here, it looks like it should be vibrant. And on the finger, it kind of does. But it kind of looks really dull on the eye. Normally, I mean, I guess you can build it up, okay? But it's still a little bit patchy. I mean, normally I like Morphe. I want to call them Morphe. Normally I like Morphe. I liked their Blue Away palette. I like the Backstage palette, the Coke palette. Okay, I mean, that's not so bad. You can build it up. But, like, not that impressed though. I don't know. I feel like Morphe can be hit or miss. Some people do not like Morphe. I do, for the most part. I do. Just maybe not this palette. Alright, now I'm just going to blend it out. How does it blend? Okay. It's okay. It loses a little bit of its vibrancy when you blend it, but honestly that was kind of to be expected. Alright, the shade looks like it might stain a little bit on the skin. I'm noticing as I blend it out. Let's see, is this an eyeshadow palette or is this called a pigment palette? It's called an artistry palette. So it doesn't say what about on the box. Does it say? So treat yourself to sweet pastels and neutrals and sugary shimmers and yummy mattes for the ultimate eye candy. Oh, okay, so there are pressed pigments. That's what I thought. So let's see. Double scoop, sprinkles, rock candy, cheat day, cake poppin', I'm dessert, boba babe are all pigments. So that's what I thought. So yeah, cake poppin' is a pigment, which means it might stain your eyelid when you put it on there. It's technically not eye safe, which is why they can't call it an eyeshadow palette, but you know, that's just because it stains. And there might be some slight irritation. Okay, moving along. Let's do Hello Jello. That's the one I wanted to do on the inner corners, but I fumbled and accidentally put it into the crease. Oops. I blame it on the heat. It ain't my fault. Blame it on the juice. Whatever. Okay. Alright. So, let's see. Alright, truthfully, I think I like that yellow better in the crease. Oh, you know what this palette reminds me of? The Maddie Ziegler palette. I'm probably saying her name wrong, but that's what it kind of reminds me of. Hold on. I will show you what I mean. Yeah, see, you have like that yellow shade, the blue shade, like this pinky purple shade. That's what it kind of reminds me of. I'm not going to say these palettes are identical. I'm just saying, I mean, they're quite different, honestly. They are. See. Well, I mean, they're similar in some regards. But I'm just saying it just reminds me of that palette. You know, I'm not really saying it's one or the other. Holy fallout on the yellow. But it is kind of a sweet little yellow shade. I mean, I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but, oh God, fallout everywhere. I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but it kind of is a little sweet pastel eye look, okay? It's not the worst. Not gonna lie. It's not terrible. I know I was kind of just like crapping on it, but I don't know. I think that yellow added something to the look. It does blend nicely, but like I said, it does lose quite a bit of its vibrancy. So I'm not gonna lie, this palette has fallout all over the place, like all over the place. But it is a sweet little pastel palette. Let's take like a snack and go back into the crease ever so slightly. I don't know if I'm gonna regret it, but I don't know. I feel like the crease needs a little zhuzhin. You know what I'm saying? Did it make it better? Did it make it worse? Who knows? I'm torn. Like, part of me was like, oh, this looks good. And then part of me is like, this does not look good. I don't know how I feel about it. And I guess that's okay, right? It doesn't always have to be so concrete. It doesn't always have to be, I really like this palette. No, I really hate it. I guess you can walk that middle line. I guess it's something I'm gonna have to keep playing with to know how I feel. All right, so I'm gonna take Rock Candy and just line the lower lash line. See, it's hard because pastels, they are on the softer side. And that is what I'm playing with in this palette, the pastels. So, yeah, of course, I'm not going to get, like, super vibrant. Ooh, this purple shade's pretty, though. Alright, just for giggles, let's take Baby Cakes and put it in the inner corner. Ooh, that is pretty. Baby Cakes. Okay, do you see that? Hold on. I would have never expected this from Baby Cakes. It looks like champagne in the pan, but on the lid, it's got like this kind of like a lilac undertone to it. That is nice. I like that. Let's just see what happens if we do it right over here. Looks like the shadows are already fading on me, which honestly, if you use primer, might not be such a big deal. And if you use a white base, also might not be a big deal. So I don't want to crap on this palette too much because like I said, I'm using pastels, which are already not the most vibrant to begin with. And I'm using it without a primer, I'm using it without a base, so I can't be too harsh. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so there you have it. There's the finished look. You know what the hey, let's see how eye candy looks on the eye, because I am dying to play with some of these shimmers. Ooh. Okay, so the moral of the story here is if you want this palette to work, you have to layer it with the shimmers. Okay, so my thoughts. Okay, I honestly do not know how I feel about this palette. I don't think that's really ever happened to me before on this channel because the colors, they are pretty, and it is like a nice little pastel eye look, like soft and fairy-like. And there are some really pretty colors. Like, I really like this purple. I really like Mr. Baby Cakes over here. Even this yellow, I kind of like, not gonna lie. So, that I do like. However, some of the colors were a little patchy. They're not the most vibrant, like this pink shade, Looking at You, which is actually kind of surprising given the fact that this is a pressed pigment, and pressed pigments usually are vibrant. So that's kind of surprising. This shade right here is just crap in my opinion. Okay, it was chalky, it was dusty, there was fallout everywhere, and same with that yellow shade. The fallout on that yellow shade was unreal, but it was pretty, so I guess it's a trade-off. I don't know. There's good things and there's bad things about this palette. Like, the pigmentation is kind of lackluster, but again, these are pastels we're talking about. But then again, we're also talking about some pressed pigments. So, I don't know. Fallout is like, what is going on? But it wipes away really easily. You just take a brush and it's gone. Like, it doesn't leave any trace behind. So I guess the fallout isn't a huge deal. Okay? Guess we can live with that. It does blend pretty decently. So there's that. The shimmers in this palette, oh my gosh. Can we talk about the shimmers? They look wet. The shimmers, I think, is where it's at in this palette. Oh my gosh, I like these shades. I wish they put more shimmers in this palette. Holy smokes. Other than just those, like, 3-ish. No, there's two more. But the shimmers are really nice. I will give it to that. The shimmers are nice. So the bottom line is I am confused about how I feel about this palette. I mean, for $20, it's not bad to play around with and experiment, see if you like it. I mean, there are some decent shades in this palette, so it's not like the whole palette's a wash. So if you get a few dud shades, it's not like, oh my gosh, I spent so much money and that's such a waste. Like a Natasha Denona palette for $129, if you have a few dud shades in that palette, yeah, like I'd be pissed. But a $20 palette, if you have a few duds, is it really such a big deal? I don't know. So overall, like, I'm torn. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna have to keep playing around with this palette before I can honestly recommend it or not. I mean, you can see how the shadows perform. You can see the swatches, and oh my gosh, even on the eyes, like, oh my gosh. That baby cake shade, oh my god, is very lilac in color. It looks so pretty. So pretty. Oh my gosh. It looks so pretty layered over this rock candy shade. Like, oh, can you just imagine? Like, let me show you. Like, do you see that? No, you don't see that. I don't know if you can see that. Like, do you see that? Like, that is a combination I'm dying to play around with. And maybe that's where you can have a little bit of fun with this palette, by layering some of these shimmers over some of these matte shades to kind of just bring them to life a little bit. So apparently I should have been playing around with the shimmer shades instead of the matte shades, because some of these shimmer shades are straight up fire. I don't know. I think this palette might be worth it for the shimmers alone. I'm gonna end this video because I'm sweating up a storm. My face is beet red. This ain't cute. So just subscribe to my channel to make all my efforts worth it. And I will see you next time. Bye.